Marco, and of course Topcon is our largest diagnostic instrument product. They're really the leader for instruments like this. This is an OCT, which is there's a few different types. There's spectral domain and there's swept source. This is a spectral domain. It has to do with the speed that it measures, but it does does everybody know what an A scan is? Mm-hmm. Okay. It does about 40,000 of those per second. Very, very fast. And we generate an OCT image. The other thing it does is it does a photograph, fundus photo. And it does that all in one sequence. So the system will, once you have the patient set up in there with a chin rest, is the only thing you have to manually do by pushing buttons, though it's automatic, but you still have to adjust it to the temporal canthus. That allows enough travel down and up. It's easy to forget to do the chin rest because you can see the patient's eye, in here, and everything looks good, but it could be at its max height, depending on the patient that was there before, and then it's going to reach its max and not go high enough. So that's why you always want to adjust your chin rest to the patient's temporal canthus. Once you're there, you hit start, capture, sure, and it does the rest. That's it. So it'll do the OCT, and it will do the photo. The photo, of course, is a flash. So after that flash, the patient's pupil will constrict, depending on how fast that is, or how fast that happens. Has a lot to do with the skin tones. Okay, so you have light complected patients, dark complected patients. Light complected patients are faster to constrict, and they stay constricted longer. The reason that's an issue is because the next eye that you do, which will be the left eye, will also be constricted. Both eyes come down with the flash, even though it was only in one eye. So it's sometimes a good idea to keep the lights down if you can. We could probably turn these off. Some patients have a large enough pupil where it's not even an issue. The other thing that this will do is do what we call a mosaic. So you'll take multiple pictures, up to 9, so 3, 3, 3, it's a box. It'll take the first image in the center, then the fixation light, the fixation image, which is an X, by the way. It's a green kind of a pixelized X. That will move, the patient follows it, and then you hit start again, and it'll take another picture. Again, it'll move to the position 3, and you hit start again. So each time it moves, you have to have the patient make sure they're stable. This will constrict the pupil because you can have 9 flashes going on. So if we have a patient with a large enough pupil here, we could certainly demonstrate that. Then it's going to all merge all those images together to make one mosaic.
And it takes them like first center and then kind of goes around the perimeter?
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So you'll get it's a 45-degree camera. So when you see an image, the round fundus photo, that's 45 degrees. So figure 3 of those going out, it's going to be half again as much. So it's going to be about a 90-degree angle.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, real simple to use. The screen is a touch screen, but we're going to use the mouse. And I was talking to Anna and Katie about, hey. Quinn, nice to meet you. And I didn't. Nick, hi. Nick, Quinn, Katie, Anna. Okay. You can see this is touch screen. So it's kind of nice in some features, but you can accidentally hit the wrong thing, and it happens all the time. So it's really a good idea just to use the mouse. So I'm going to escape out of here. To turn the system on, there's a switch on the OCT right here on the bottom corner. You can turn it on first. It doesn't matter. But before you open the application, you want to make sure that this has been up and running and you have a screen here. Okay, that's the only thing.
What happens if you accidentally do it the other way?
Then you have to call service in, and it'll probably ruin the instrument. It's
You had me going for a sec there.
right. No, it's you might just get an air camera not ready or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and to shut it down doesn't matter. You can just shut it off. I would close all the windows, because you could have a window open that you haven't saved yet. So you just want to make sure to close it. If you go to close it before it's been saved, it'll warn you. You know, hey, you haven't saved this. Do you want to? So, okay, so we have both instruments on. This, by the way, will swivel. Sometimes a patient's a little bit difficult to manage. They keep moving their forehead away from the forehead rest or whatever. You can flip this up like that and go on the other side.
Oh.
So you can actually be right there with the patient. You can hold their head if you have to. You can also turn it over here to this side. So you could technically have this sitting in a corner of a room, like over there. It takes up hardly any space. It's really nice. Okay, so I'll just open, it's ImageNet 6. I'm gonna put that right, well I can't, that's right, I can't do that. I have to change the settings on it. Okay, so just double click there. Username, password, default, so you just hit log on. This is the opening screen. You can see we have, this is basic information here. Advanced, you can have just more data to search a patient by. Or you can do patient list, so you search, and it's going to show all the patients. To put a new patient in, you just hit new patient, okay, and it gives you this data. You have to have a patient ID, and you don't have to, but you really need to put the birth date in there, because it does do an age-related normative value on the average defects.
Can I chime in for a sec? So for our birthday, to protect our privacy as much as we possibly can, but not get away from the age-related normal or abnormal or whatnot, we're just gonna put in January 1st and then your year of birth.
Okay.
Because this is cool, because we can do that.
Yeah, we really don't want to know what everybody's birthday is, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
So
You don't
on
wanna
the
know where
serious,
mine
what
is.
we've been doing
That's-
is just putting your first name and your last name is just the first letter of your last name. So Hannity, or whatever.
Okay.
Good, yeah.
Okay.
And then gender is important too, because that all applies to the normative value, which now is called reference data. That's what that's called. So now to choose an existing patient, this is a list alphabetically of all the patients that are in there. So obviously that's going to grow. So to find a patient, you can put their ID in there or their name. Last name, Test, for instance. Patient's name is Test. And you do search, and it's going to isolate that one patient. So it makes it pretty easy. Okay, and we'll just now, let's go back to patient list. Take this out. And I'll bring up everybody here. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just kind of show you what images we have in there first. This patient right here, we had a number of them, but I just clicked once there. And it's going to show you the color fundus photos, named color, okay, and then OCT. So we've got radial anterior image here, which is the cornea. If I click on it, it's gonna process it and display it. It does take a while. There's a lot of data in there. And you can run the scan, of course, this way. You can see this is what is called a radial scan. Here's the patient's eye. This is an infrared picture, here's a color. And it actually scans this way, but goes all the way around. So you get scans of all the different, at all the different axes. And you can scan it this way, you can display it this way by moving this slider. This is, you can beginning to see the iris here. That's what that is.
Can you go over, what is it that we're looking at with this radial scan? This is the cross-section of the cornea?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
So
And
we
here-
were playing around with this last week, I think the day after, or a couple of weeks ago after training. Is there a pachymetry now?
Well,
That's what
yeah, there's a measurement mode. So in this,
So you can get a ruler in here and measure
Yeah.
from top to
Well,
bottom?
no, I know that, but there's not a color pachymetry map. Because virtually every.
are you
other-
talking about a corneal topography?
No, a pachymetry color
Different.
map. So virtually every other OCT that does anterior segment is a pachymetry map, and we couldn't figure out how to do it on here.
Pachymetry map. Oh, are you talking about thickness?
Of the
Yeah.
cornea?
Yeah, at different points?
No, it's throughout usually a 6 by 6 millimeter section
Mm-hmm.
of the cornea.
Mm-hmm.
The apical.
Where you can actually click on each area and it'll give you the thickness?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, see now it's really, no. The answer to that is no.
Okay, yeah, because I couldn't find it in the manual either, so I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
But if you were to do it without that, you could still measure. You can get a millimeter ruler and measure in microns. Because there is a ruler in there, right?
It's right here.
And then you can just draw from top to bottom and measure the thickness. The only problem is, you don't know exactly where the apical portion of the cornea is, so you're not really sure what you're measuring, right?
Well, you can find that, and that's gonna be that reflection. Let me see if I can find this location here. We don't have it on this one.
I'm sorry, Amanda's checking in.
Gotcha.
There it is. This is the apex right here.
Oh, cool.
So we have a line, we can go right here.
How did you determine that was the apex?
The reflection, this is the center right here.
Okay.
It was, yeah, so it'll give an optical artifact at the apex,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
the cornea well.
Yeah, so to speak, yeah.
Cool.
And that's 555, clearly.
Cool. Average trend.
And then you can delete it too if you wanna. Well, it's important that you make this at 90 degrees
Right.
right here, perpendicular right there, because it will vary a little bit, as you know. Just gotta start at too low here, but obviously, the more angle you go, the longer it's gonna be. Okay. Now we can get an anterior photo. Did I show you that last time? I don't remember.
I don't know, I wasn't.
Kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
You have infrared, then you have color here. So,
Can you magnify that photo a little bit more if there was like an iris?
yes, we can.
Cyst or
It
anything
would
that
be,
you
it would be
were
a photo
interested in?
like this is.
Alright, but just more. So that's cool.
So you'd be able to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now from here, you can go into the measurement mode. You can do cup disc ratio here. CD. And then you can do quick draw, you can circle or highlight. This is your mosaic.
Perfect, I wanna learn how to do that.
Yeah.
So that's cool, so you can actually write down, it tells you what the cup to disc ratio is?
Mm-hmm. We'll go right here, so.
Fancy.
Let's do ellipse here.
Does it also spit out the diagnosis for the doc?
Does it what?
Does it spit out a diagnosis for the doctor?
No. No, that'd be kinda nice.
Right? Smart machine, huh?
Oops, exit here. So this is basically a freehand, and what you're gonna do is just go around, you know, the disc. I did a very poor job here. And then you do the cup.
Oh, you outline it, and
Yeah.
then it gives you that value ratio.
Correct.
It's pretty cool,
How would you know it's like?
So you have CD ratio 0.34.
How did you know what?
How would you know it's exact if you're like free drawing?
Well, it's, you know, that really is not, it's not rocket science. Yeah, I mean, you could be off, and it's still, you would have to be off a very high amount to get the ratio to vary. It's, I don't know if I can really explain it. Here, we can do it again, so let's delete.
When you think about the alternative of the doctor just saying what it is, there's
Right.
a lot of subjectivity to it. Because
Yep.
what one doctor may say is a 0.5 cup, another one may say 0.6, another one says 0.4. So this seems much
Right.
more exact, even if you are off a little bit.
They'd be doing that with an ophthalmoscope, and just going in, and some ophthalmoscopes have scales on them, some don't. So they're looking at the disc and then the cup. And it's just, it's an estimation, because they're not perfectly spherical either. I mean, it's more of an ellipse.
Yeah, but you're just estimating where you think the boundaries are.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little hard, like,
Yeah.
see, even right here, it's gonna be right here. It's, this is clearly the cut right here. Out here, it's a little bit washed out because of overexposure, but if we took some of that exposure out, if we lowered the flash, the macula would be a little bit hard to discern here. So let's go back to free.
This is where artificial intelligence would come in to actually
Yeah.
gauge the cup to disc ratio without you
That's
having
gonna be
you
way off here.
manually draft out, you know, the parameters.
I mean, I really messed up, but 0.47, so it's 0.07 difference from the last time I did it, but I mean, I was way off on this one. A hard time seeing it, but anyway, you get the point, and again, it is an estimation, it is subjective, so you're not gonna be, what you're looking at is for changes. When they're doing that with a glaucoma suspect, they're gonna be looking for changes in that CD ratio.
Can you stack images from one visit to the next?
No, but you can compare them.
So
Can't stack
it-
them, but you can compare
The
them.
machine compares them, so if it was a 0.3 before, how much it is now, and,
No, you would
Like an
list the
analysis.
images. It would save that as a picture
okay,
with the CD ratio in that corner.
I gotcha.
So you could pull the first one, the first record up, then the last record up, and anything in between too.
All on one page, yeah.
Right. So, yeah, like this, for instance. You can show them just like this.
Mhm.
And, okay, so let's just go ahead and we're gonna close this out.